MATOKA が参ります。ご注意ください。
Hey friends, what's good? So recently I've had some people ask me about the equipment that I use to film my YouTube videos. And I've never actually made a video about the equipment that I use. Honestly, I'm just really happy that people think to ask me about the equipment that I use to make videos because I'm not a professional. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. A lot of the gear that I actually use is pretty old. It's been at least 2 years now since I started making videos, and even then, the camera that I use and some of the equipment was when I used to take more photos back 2, 3, 4 years ago. A lot of the things that I have gone through depreciation and stuff. They're not the newest high quality stuff, as you probably can tell from the quality of my videos. For what I use and what I have, I think they're pretty good. There can be room for a lot of improvement, obviously. So as someone, I feel like I would refer myself as a budget YouTuber, someone who is not making a lot of money from YouTube or in general. I just wanted to share how I make videos and how you guys can too on a budget. Now, while I did say that I'm not making a lot of money from YouTube, I am making a little bit of money, and the plan so far is just to funnel all that money into the channel for now, hopefully expanding it, making higher quality videos in the future, getting more equipment. So if you like videos and you want my quality and everything to get better, make sure to subscribe, like my videos, and keep watching. That's the best way that you can help. I made a Amazon wish list for things that I'm looking into, the gear that I want for the future. Now, of course, it's just a wish list. No one has to feel obliged to get anything whatsoever. Just watching the videos is a lot of support in itself. Feel free to take a look at the wish list though, because I just like to put a lot of things that I feel like can help the channel, gear and camera stuff that I'm interested in for the future in order to create higher quality stuff. So if you are looking for things that aren't necessarily budget and you think that you're gonna go farther in your YouTube career or just making videos for passion's sake, I highly suggest checking out that wish list. I'll leave it in the description below. But let's get started on just going through what I use to make a video. So I'm gonna use my phone and just film what I see when I'm making a video. So this is my view when I am making a video. I have the camera right here on this tripod. I have a microphone attached to it, and as you can see, I just have this window, which is the only window in my room, and that gives me all the backlit lighting that I actually need in order to make videos. The only issue is I have to film at certain times of the day. As you can see, it's 3:30 right now, and because of daylight savings time, I have to film around this time or earlier in order to get an appropriate amount of light. As you can see, it's not like super shining or anything like that outside. It's a cooler day. The sun is also blocked by this wall that I have here, but I get enough ample natural light in order to make my videos. I also use the manual setting on my phone, right there. It took me so long in order to figure out how to adjust the settings in order to get enough light. Depending on your lighting situation, if you have not as much backlit light or not as much light in general, it's important to change the settings. So I have the ISO at 6400, the frames or whatever, 100, and then 4.0. I'll make a note about what this stuff is in the future. If you're a camera person, you probably know all that. It just took me a long time to figure that out myself. The camera I use is an EOS Rebel SL2. The reason why I like it is because it is a smaller framed camera compared to a lot of other DSLRs. Of course, that means it doesn't have as many features and it doesn't shoot in 4K. It's also older. I got it like 3 or 4 years ago, but because it was more for traveling purposes for my Japan trip, right? I chose something a little smaller, and then I just used the regular lens, which is an 18 by 55. The tripod that I use is a Belora made in Germany. It's a super old tripod, but it really does the trick. The legs don't really extend very well anymore, and it doesn't really like keep up very well. because it just really is old, but it was inherited. And the other tripod that I have, a Amazon tripod, and it's just really flimsy, so it did not work. But just for a desk tripod, this one is super heavy duty. It's actually really heavy too, but I recommend putting a little more money into tripods just for longevity, making sure that it really helps, you know? And then the microphone that I use is a Movo. Don't know what that really is. I just got it off of Amazon. It's a pretty cheap one, maybe $20, $16 or $20. And you can tell it's cheap because the stand right here is broken. Come on, zoom into that. There, it's broken like that. So that's not very good. So it's pretty flimsy. Don't really love that. I recommend if you're going to get a microphone, make sure to get one that has an internal battery, because if you don't have an internal battery with your microphone, it's just not going to pick up as much sound. It's not going to be as efficient. It's just not going to work as well. So I really recommend for the microphone at least, like get something that has a battery in it, or something that can be charged by the camera, because this one is just plugged in here, so there's no actual charge or anything like that. And it is better than the actual microphone in the camera, but not by a whole lot. So one thing that I found was really hard to do is store video files. So this is a older, I got this in Japan. It's a WD USB-C external hard drive, because I don't want to pay for things in the cloud. Once I get enough money via YouTube in order to support that, I might rent out more space in the cloud and have my videos there instead. But this does the trick. I use the USB-C just because I have a MacBook Pro, so the USB-C was most convenient, and 3 terabytes has been pretty good for the past 2 years. Onto the computer, I have my, and my chair is so squeaky. I have my really not very good looking MacBook Pro here. It's pretty old. I think I got it 2 years ago, so not super old, but kind of old, and you can tell because this key has basically fallen off. Some of the other keys are sticky, so it's just not in great shape. It still runs fine and everything like that, so I have to be grateful for that. I'm not gonna change anything anytime soon with that. This is my Lucky Bamboo. It's actually featured in one of my other videos. You can check it out. And then Kaonashi, a Rubik's Cube that I never actually solved. One of my friends solved it, and then I just never wanted to figure out how to do it, so I left it like that for years. And then this is my backup camera. It is a DJI Osmo Pocket. I love and hate this camera at the same time. It's really useful, it's really small, and it does really high quality video, but the only issue is the gimbal sometimes makes me very angry. I haven't exactly figured out how it works, so it's always kind of still in the process, but it's a pretty trustworthy camera. If you want to see some video footage of me using it, I can do a whole vlog using it. Just, yeah, leave me a comment below and say like, oh hey, can you do like a whole camera review on this? Because I will if you want me to. My Canon does the trick for pretty much everything so far, so I haven't had to use anything else basically. My main editing software for video is Final Cut Pro. I got that before I was moving to Japan, mainly because it's just like a quick install on your computer and then you just always have it, compared to having something in the cloud. I think the cloud is more useful, but the Adobe Studio, I think that's the other one that a lot of people use. I just never really got into that one, and at the time everyone was using Final Cut Pro, YouTuber wise, and I kind of just wanted to learn that one. I think there are a lot of better softwares out there for video editors who don't have very much experience. The learning curve for Final Cut Pro is a little higher, I think, and if you want to make your videos more fancy with custom transitions and things like that, it's a little harder to use Final Cut Pro because you have to do each step, compared to other editing softwares. I think they make it a little easier. But I kind of liked just figuring out and learning how to use Final Cut Pro, because I think once you learn one editing software, it's pretty easy to adapt to the rest of them. So I just wanted to pay that one-time fee to use Final Cut Pro instead of paying a subscription, so that's why I went with that one. For my thumbnails, I need to work on my thumbnail game. I already know. I feel like everyone else always has better thumbnails than I do, and I think that kind of affects my click-through rate and my views as well. Most people use Photoshop or something like that in order to create their thumbnails. I use Canva. It's a really great online cloud software if you're just starting out and kind of figuring things out. And it really works well not only just for making thumbnails, but also for making images and content within my videos. I usually make those in Canva and then export them into my videos, and it actually works really well. You kind of just need that eye of design and stuff like that. There are a lot of little GIFs and images on the Canva website that you can just drag and drop into your template so that you can have things whenever you need it instead of having to scour the internet. Eventually, I would love to get a pro subscription from there too. I kind of think it is worth it. You know, I think if you have the Adobe Photoshop suite or something that has Photoshop, use that for sure, because it has a lot more features, I think. And then for music, I mainly use the YouTube Music audio library. If you haven't noticed, most of my videos have background music. I try to keep it pretty low so that my voice comes out a lot clearer, but just make it more chill in the background. I think a lot of people give a lot of hate to the YouTube Music library, but it's not that bad. I think you really do need to search for music content that fits with your video or your brand. Once you find those few songs that really fit or that you can make work, like those are, I have the few that I just keep using because I feel like they represent me a little better than any of the other music on that library. In the future, I really want to start making my own music because I've had a few run-ins with copyright so far. Nothing that has gotten me in a lot of trouble, but just, you know, they take the monetization from the video. So I would love to make my own music in the background, or just music in general, and have that play on my videos as well. If I get to that point, I will start making videos and maybe even do some live streams and we can make music together. I feel like that's a really cool idea. Right now, things are still in the process, so I don't know when that will get started, but I feel like a lot of people that do YouTube, you think that they're gonna have a lot of fancy equipment and just know all these things, but I feel like a lot of people are kind of like me. We just have that budget equipment or that equipment that we already had. So don't feel discouraged if you're just starting out, if you don't have like the latest and the greatest stuff, because anything works. If I had enough memory on my phone, I would be using my phone a lot more in order to make videos. So if you're just starting out, hey, use your phone. It's the most budget option, and a lot of phones have better cameras than these cameras anyways. And I think that covers pretty much everything. I don't really know what else I use. I'm sure there's little things here and there that I can think of in the future, but if you guys have any questions, leave it in the comments below. If you like videos like this, make sure to leave a thumbs up. I do like to just, you know, share my YouTube experiences at least, because it is a really interesting platform to start off on, and I personally didn't know anything. Like, it took me what, probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years, because I think the 2-year point was when I got 100 subscribers. It took me that long to actually figure a lot of this stuff out, and now I'm making videos more consistently and I'm still learning a lot. I'm no pro whatsoever, but none of us start off as pros. So that is my advice to you. That was not advice, but I have nothing else to say. So I'll see you next time. Peace.